Yeah, welcome to this Whisper today, which is about Alexa skills and about voice design. And yes, how it all started is actually that I was some weeks ago at Alexa Dev Day. Maybe you already know this story. And yeah, this was a whole day full of just what is Alexa, what can you do with it, and all these kind of things. And also with Felix, which is over there. And yeah, actually we learned a lot, and we also created our own skills on there and also presented what we did and these kind of things. And yeah, so I took this opportunity also to present what I learned there and also what I learned afterwards. Yeah, to use so that you can also make use of it, hopefully. And yeah, for me, one of the most or the most impressive slide was actually this one, like the evolution of humans. Can they go actually in automatically or not? I hope so. Yeah. So which means that, yeah, we're going down to our computers and use our smartphones, and then maybe the next step is already then voice. So we don't need to interact or have something in our hands, so we can just use our services freely, which is like, yeah, really cool. And so also to start, I want to give you an introduction of what is Alexa, and yeah, what's the best introduction than the official Alexa video, which is just 1.5 minutes. So yes. So what will you create? And actually the cool thing today is that we also will create a skill, and I will do some live coding session so that you, yeah, just know how to do it. Because it's actually not very hard nowadays to do it. But first we go into this. Yeah, this is the brief overview. First we'll give you an introduction and like the overview and basics of how this all works. And then we go really into building a skill. So maybe you know some of the Alexa family already. I also have like two examples here. This is like the big one we have in our company, and also have my own small Echo Dot here. And so for me, the question is, who already used a voice service, something like Siri or Google Go or Alexa? Yeah, me too, yes. And who also has one of these devices at home? There are already some people. And who already built a skill or developed something for these kind of devices? Okay, probably after this Whisper it will change. So how it all works. In general, Alexa is a cloud-based service, so everything is in the cloud. The whole language processing and also the services are usually in the cloud. And there are like two main things. One thing is the Alexa Skills Kit, which is where you create your apps and all this crazy content. And on the other side, there is the Alexa Voice Service. What they provide, these are like these devices that we have, and also like the Spot, Yeah, the Echo Spot, which is now coming, and also like other devices which are in a car and in TV and wherever. And also, of course, they have an app for these kind of things. So these kind of two things integrated all together are this Alexa experience, let's say. And what's happening in the cloud is mainly the automated speech recognition. So what you say is interpreted, and also what they do is some kind of machine learning. This is this natural language understanding. So not only processing, but also understanding what you mean. So giving meaning to what you speak. Yeah, there are a lot of skills, as you also heard from the introductions. They have a store which is online on the AWS, and yeah, you can just go there and then download, install the skill to your Dot, to your Alexa app, and then it's available. So before or unless you install an app, it is actually not available on there. So it's like a normal app on a smartphone. But of course, there are already many basic skills, let's say, are integrated, like giving talking jokes or weather or whatever. So you can already play with it without installing any additional skills. So the main concept of how Alexa works is actually divided into 2 or 3 parts. On the one side, there is the customer or the user, which is us. We talk or say something, and how Alexa works is that you have to say an how's it called, a wake word. A wake word can be like Alexa, or it's computer, or it's Amazon, and unless this word is spoken, the device will not do anything. And if you say, then this a wake up world, it will record all what you speak, and will actually send this data over to the Alexa cloud services. And in the cloud services, they will interpret or will do the magic there. And out of the thing you speak, they will create a JSON file. And this JSON file is then put into, let's say, the second big part of building a skill, into your program. So you can build programs, get JSON as input, do something with it, and after that, you return JSON again. And in this JSON file, there's all the response that is needed for the user. So you can say, or like, let's say, put in there what the Alexa is saying, how she's saying it, and also other things like additional audio files or images and these kind of things. Or yeah, let's say your response from your service. And after that, yes, you have everything on your device or your Alexa. And the thing is, of course, with this recognition or voice recognition, that it's not as easy as it sounds. Because when we say something, for example, here we have like 40 times, whatever. And of course, this can have a lot of meanings. So maybe it's like 40 times, so 40 times something, or it's 40 times. So it's if you want to have a tea or something, like in Britain. Or it's 40 times, or it's even, yeah, 40 times. So it's not as easy as it sounds. And the cool thing here is that Amazon actually provides now the service of machine learning in the background, so that, yeah, the thing you say is interpreted the way it should be. So if I say something like 40 times, and I'm in Britain, probably it means that it is currently 40. And that's like the same thing that is happening actually in the cloud. And how it is done is that you provide some sample utterances, and based on the sample utterances, it somehow does know that this probably belongs in this category. So in general, you cannot say everything to Alexa. So you have to follow some kind of structure. And as I said before, there's like the first word is the wake word, the wake up this device. And then actually there is the start phrase. The start phrase is like open or tell or start or whatever. So there are like also multiple ways. And then there's the skill invocation name. And the skill invocation name is actually the skill you installed on your device. And we will also create our own skill where we can say Alexa open and then our skill. And if the skill is open, then we can interact within the context of the skill. What we can also do is like one-shots. It's also a design pattern where you just say the wake-up word, the start phrase, the invocation name of the skill, and the thing you actually want to do. For example, here's like Alexa ask space facts for trivia. And so it already knows, like in this one sentence, everything, all the information, yeah, what you want to do or what you want to get out of the skill. And then you can return the right answer. So I will just check if everything is fine also with the recording, and I hope so. Yeah, it's still running. Perfect. And yeah, if you have questions, you can also ask in between, but I guess it will be more clear later. So as I said before, there are like two main things that make up a skill. One is on the one side, there is the voice user interface, the VUI. And in the voice user interface, actually, you model the thing you can say or how you interact actually with your skill. And on the other side, there is the programming logic where you actually then get your JSON into it, and you can process it and return it back. And in AWS or in the Amazon services, they have like two platforms for it. We will also check them out later. One is like the developer platform, and the other one is the AWS platform. The nice thing is that you have to use the developer platform because you have to create a skill for Alexa because it's specific. But you can use whatever backend, let's say, you want to have. So you can use what we will use like an AWS Lambda expression later, or you can also use just whatever backend service you have somewhere. There are some certain steps, of course, in order to create a skill. And if you want to create a skill later, they provided a nice introduction. It's called the Alexa Cookbook. And we will also go through the steps later, like creating the voice user interface, creating a Lambda function, connect these things together. We will test it, probably customize it a little bit, and then publish it. We'll not publish it today, but I will show you how you can do it. And there are different ways how you can test it. And one easy way is just to use the web interface to provide. You can just use the, let's say, chat function on the left-hand side. So you can just type in what you would probably speak. You can also use the microphone so you can actually speak it. And then you will get the response from your service. On the right side, you can also easily have some information about the request and responses, so you can also debug it. And we will see later actually how this will be useful. What we also can do is use our smartphone. The cool thing is that if you have your smartphone, you also usually have your Alexa app on there. And all the response and the requests will also like pushed to your smartphone. And also if there are like errors or other things for debugging, you can see this on your smartphone. So during development, this is like pretty cool. There are also other tools, which is like a virtual Alexa, where you can just speak also with your browser. It's like the same as the microphone, but looks nicer. It's the Echo Sim. Okay, so are you ready? Yeah. So that I will do some hands-on. Okay, but first, I will show you what you will learn, because there is actually there's some things. The first thing is like ask. It's the Alexa skill kit, and it's a CLI, so it's a command line interface, so you can easily create your skills. We will use this in a second. You will learn what are like these intents and utterances, like this one-shot and multi-turn interaction. Also what SSML, so it's the speak I think syntactical markup language, so actually how it speaks, and some random function, and also how to certify a skill. So I already now it's the question which kind of skill we want to build, because this always is the first question. And since we're in Catalyst and we love to do things, I thought about what can we do, and so I thought maybe let's create a skill for our cat society, and so we will create the cat society skill. So planning, of course, is important. So I just give you like some outline on what we will create now. We will have a skill where we can ask our cat society skill some certain things. We say, Alexa, ask or start or tell whatever cat society to do something. This is our invocation name. And one thing we want to know is what is the budget, or how much is the budget, so that we know how much money we have left. Then what we also want to do is to do maybe a fantastic or like a dinner, but you know, it's always hard to find something. So we want like Alexa to give us some recommendations what we can actually do. And we will also have certain, let's say, special features already included in this. So if we say, what can we do? Alexa will ask us what we want to do. If we want to do a dinner or a fantastic. And so we also have already some kind of variables within our language that we can use. And what we can also do is like do this one shot. So if we provide the information already in front or up front, we can just do this one shot by saying, Alexa, ask Cat Society, what fantastic can we do? And it will give us some information. Okay, now we start into the coding. And usually what you should do first is go into your developer account, into the console of Alexa. Under your skills, and in there you can see all the skills that you already have created. And in a second we will have another skill here next to the preparation skills that I used. So just normal cat society skills. And on the other side, we will have these AWS services where we have, where we go into our Lambda functions and create, let's say, the backend logic in there. And one important thing to mention is that currently Alexa skills are not available everywhere, so not in every region of the Amazon services. It is, I think, in Europe, it's Ireland, and otherwise it's Virginia, where I'm currently in the US. So you have to be at this certain regions, especially to use the Ask client. So we'll also zoom in here. Good. So what we are going to do now is go into the console, and let's stop this whole thing. I already installed the CLI. What you have to do first is set it up so that it is connected with your Amazon account, so that it actually knows how to push all this stuff and verify it. I already did this, and so I can actually just jump in. I say start, and then I say new. It's easy as that. The first thing is that it will ask me for a name, and I say it's cat. It's a cat society. And now it will create the skill and stop, and we will also create a project. It's already created. We go into it, open the project. Currently I use Atom for this. And in a second, we can see the project. Hopefully, yes. Yes. And what we can see here is that it created, let's say, the basic structure. one thing is the models, where the language is in there, and the other thing is like the Lambda, where our backend logic will be in there. Then there is another JSON file. It's the manifest file, and in the manifest file, there's just some basic information that will actually be on the store or somewhere. Yeah, what is the name of your app or your skill? What are some example phrases, and these kind of things. And it will also link your model with your Lambda expression in this case. So in the models, there is or there can be multiple files. So every language, of course, has another file because it's a language is like different. And we will create one in English. And the first thing is that we have another name up here, which is greeter. This is the invocation name. We will change it later, and also some kind of intents, and what these intents are, I will also tell in a second. And also there are some sample phrases. So yeah, like the basic structure. In the Lambda area, there's actually, it's just a normal Node project. You can also use Python for the Lambda expressions. And in there, actually, there are different handlers. And the handler is, yeah, I will also show you in a second what a handler is. But this is, let's say, the basic structure of it. What we can do now is then just ask and say deploy. And with ask deploy, it will just take the model, put it in on the developer side, and it will also take the Lambda and put it on the AWS Lambda side for our backend. And in a second, everything will be there. And the cool thing about this is that, like before, you had to create this thing by hand on a website, and also like the Lambda expression by hand, then you had to connect it manually. But with this CLI, everything is just yeah, stopped up for you, so you can start pretty fast. Yeah, the first deployment will take some time, but it will be faster than next iterations. Good. So we have now our skill here. We already had it here before. This is our CAD Society skill. We will go into it and check out actually what kind of interface they provide to us. And I will also just check that the Lambda expression is here. And yeah, it's this one. It's Ask Custom CAD Society default. What you can see here is like the basic structure. There's also a checklist of things you have to fulfill in order to make your skill ready. And most of these things are already green, as you can see. So this is already done by our client, by our CLI. And on the left side, you can see the interaction model. The interaction model is now the language we are going to design. The first thing is the invocation. So it's the invocation name, how to start this thing, and we will call it CAD Society, of course. And then you can see on the left side some intents. And in intent, maybe you know it from app development, is like an intention you want to do. And there are some examples or standards already provided by Amazon, which is like canceling or asking for help, and also like stopping the skill again. So if you say Alexa help, or Alexa stop, cancel, whatever, these intents will be called. And we can also create, of course, our own intents, because we want to have an intent for a budget, and we want to have an intent to get some recommendations for events. So what we're going to do now is I will just delete this hello world and create an intent for our budget. We call it budget intent. And in there, then you can provide your samples. So the word or the sentences you put in here will be, or will invocate then your intent. So like, what is the budget? How much money do we have? You can also make like different variations of it. Money do we have left? And the more, let's say, the better, and the more variations you have, of course, then it's easier like to get it. If we're done with this, we can just save it and build the model. It will take some seconds to build this kind of thing. And then we can already test it. Up there, you can see currently we're in the build tab. The build tab is where we build everything. Test tab, we test it. We'll do this in a second. Distribution is actually everything that is also in the manifest file. So like everything that you can see in the store. And certification is then the last phase where, yeah, you can actually publish it. And if it is published, you can also go into analytics where you can see the usage of your skill. So as you can see, it's now built and we can test it. So we can say, Alexa, start Cat Society. Or not. Wait a second. That's the cool thing with live coding, right? It always works. Alexa, start Cat Society. I hope I named it like this. Otherwise, we will check in a second. So we're already now into in the skill. The thing is that what happened before is that currently the platform sadly is a little bit buggy. So sometimes what you can do is refresh the page and also disable and enable again, and then it will recognize all your changes. So this is also what's happened now. Yes, so just that you know for debugging. And what you can see now, it's the JSON that was produced when we said Alexa start Cat Society. And actually what we asked here was nothing, we just started it. And we got like this response, also nothing surprising. So, and if we now say, so I'll just open this in another tab so that we can jump left to right. So now we started the skill, so we're inside of the skill. How much money do we have? Is this right? How much money do, oh yeah. Let's say do have, it's okay. What is the budget? It's easier. What is the budget? So the thing is, it didn't work now, but this is correct. Now I want to ask you why it is still not working, or what we miss. Maybe you already know. Yeah. Yes. Why? Or what is the missing part somehow? Yes. The thing is that we of course put this thing into a language, but of course we have no backend that is responding to this thing, and so of course Alexa doesn't know how to handle it. So this was not a mistake, this was on purpose now. But we can already see, like in the response, maybe you can see it here, or in the wait a second, that we have already this budget intent here. So it recognized it correctly as the thing that we wanted to have. Yes, what we miss now is of course the backend. And if we go now into our backend, we now will reuse this handler for the hello world. And as I said before, this the structure is always like that. You provide handlers, and the handler does have a can handle and a handle function. A can handle is just like a Boolean response if it can handle the intent, yes or no. And if it is yes, it will go into the handle function, as easy as that. And what we have now is, instead of this hello world, we have the budget intent. And now instead of hello world, we say we have 2,000 euros left, something like this. So yes. And what's happening now here, what you can see is that we will create a response with the response builder, and we will just use the speak function to speak out the text. And what else is happening, it is that it creates a simple card. Currently it's saying hello world. You can also say like budget. And if you just have a voice device, the card will be useless. But if you have like a smartphone or something with a display, you can also get this information there. And you can also use it as a debugging tool, because if you have it on your smartphone, you can print a lot of more information there. But of course, you can also use console log and all other things you would like to have. So we save this one. And then we go back and say ask deploy. And instead of deploying everything, we can also specify a target, which is currently the Lambda. So if you just want to push the Lambda, because there are just updates there, we just push the Lambda. And we can also provide models, so it will just push the model. So yeah, kind of easy. And now this one is over there. And if we now say again, what is the budget? Oh, pretty cool. There's 2,000 euros left. Not bad. Okay, so this was like a really easy interaction. And now, as you know, we want to have like a little bit more advanced. So where you can also have like variables and this kind of things. So it gets a little bit more interesting. And where we have like incomplete things. And the nice thing is about the UI that it's pretty easy, especially at the beginning, to just use the UI and click instead of writing just a big JSON file, which is, yeah, not very intuitive at the beginning. So we will create an event intent. And we will say, what can we do? And we will also say what, there's like, what can we do? It's like something. And we also can say, or put a variable in there. It's like, what type can we do? And the thing is, we of course also have to specify what type is. And in this context, it's called a slot, an intent slot. And as you can see, we have a slot here. It's called type. And every type, every slot has a different type. And there are also some standard types, which are like different airlines or ratings, regions, books, and kind of thing. It's also like time and date. So if you want to have like a variable for next Monday or on the 20th of February or something, you can just use date, and it will interpret this next Monday into a real date where you have like year and month and date easily there, which is pretty nice. So no more parsing and everything. And we have, of course, a special type or a custom type. So we can, on the left side, go in there and say we have an event type. We create this type. And we have, then you can provide your values, which is fantastic, or which is like dinner. And another cool thing is that you can also use synonyms. So if we have like dinner, maybe it's not only dinner, but it's food, or it's lunch, or it's evening dinner, something like this. So it will just map to this value. So you can say different things and it will map to the same value. Here we can have fun, action, whatever. Okay, so we now have this one, and we go back to our event type and then also choose this new event type. And if everything is fine, we can save it. So we can save it. And yeah, let's build it in the background. One thing that we want to have here is that if you don't say anything, this kind of is optional. So you will get this parameter maybe or maybe not. But if you want to have this type, now there's a cool, this is a very cool Alexa thing. Now, if you want to have this type mandatory, so if the person is saying, or the user is saying, what can we do, and not providing any information, we then want Alexa to ask the user again, what kind of event do you want to have? So what we can do is create a dialog, and if we go like into this edit dialog of the type, we can say that this one is a required slot. And then we can enter what Alexa will answer. So a dinner or fantastic, what do you want to do? So Alexa will answer with this, and then a user might answer type, or it will just say type, or I want to have a type, whatever, and then you get the type again. So now we save this again and build it. And in the JSON edit, okay, something failed. Confirmation. Do we miss? Oh, we don't want to have this one. Yeah, so we saved it. Build started. And what we now actually did in UI is creating this bunch of JSON outputs. You can also type, of course, on yourself. And of course, it will create, if you put voice in there, it will also create a bunch of JSON. And you have to write actually some code to interpret this JSON right. But what they did, or what one of the developers there did, was to create a code generator, which does this automatically, which is pretty awesome. So it's alexa.design/code generator. And in there, we can just take all this JSON, put it in there, and say generate code, and it will generate a lot of code that will, yeah, let's say interpret all our intents, all our variables, all our everything. And we can just take this code, which is good at the beginning, of course, but if you continue developing, you probably will not do this anymore. Then you can just take this code and put it in here. I will just take, I will just save this for later. If this is here anymore. So here's our code. Yeah, it's a bunch of code, but the thing is, it's not really hard to understand. There are just some helper functions and other kind of things which are in there. So it's not, yeah, if you just have a look at it, you will understand. One thing that is missing from there is that they use the Ask SDK, but the Ask SDK is not by default in here, so we have to install it. So we go into Lambda custom, and there is our package JSON. So we get npm install -save and then Ask SDK. So we will install the SDK. Yep. And then we can go back again, push the Lambda again. In the meanwhile, it also got pushed there. And then we can say, Alexa, start cat society. We can also use the help, which was also like created in the background. So you can also get some information, especially by default, it will just respond everything that, let's say, was put there. But we want to say what can we do? And as you already can see here, that it just asks us back because we didn't provide any information. And then we can say dinner. So then we got into the event intent already. And the variable, which was like type, was filled with the value dinner, which is pretty cool. What we can also do is what fantastic, or maybe let's what fun can we do? So we can also see that also like synonyms are already provided, and we had like a one-shot information somehow within like the one-shot, yeah. And was it clear so far somehow? That's good. And of course, what we can also do is so where do I have it? Provide some more valuable information, which I have here now. This one, yes. And in there, nope, we have this event intent somewhere. And in there is all this code. Yeah, this was executed in the back. And currently it just yeah, tells us what was provided and what was missing or what else. And of course, we can also put or call other services here. And I, let's say, stopped or mocked a service with a timeout, which takes 3 seconds. And after these 3 seconds, let's say the answer will be provided. And what we, what I do now is just say, like, if it is like fantastic, I return an array of these kind of elements, and if it is like a dinner, it will return one of these elements. And this is after 3 seconds. And of course, in real services, you create a backend call or do something else you want to do. Good, we save this. And since this is an await, we also have to do, of course, an async. So actually everything above we can somehow leave alone. Yeah, what we miss is that say equals actually the response that we get here. Good, now we push this lambda expression again. And if it is pushed, yes, it is. Oops, sorry for switching so fast. Then we can say, Alexa, ask Cat Society what fantastic can we do? And this actually is a one shot because you can just say it and then you will get hopefully an answer. Oh, pretty nice. And there's also one thing. Now I didn't check before if it works with this microphone, but we can use this Echo Simio also, which you saw before. As I said, I'm not quite 100% sure if it works now, but we will see in a second. Alexa, hi. Oh, looks good. Alexa, open Cat Society. What can we do? a dinner. Yeah, that's actually like the breakthrough from the beginning to the end. And what you also could hear in the end was this SSML, so the markup language of Alexa. So you cannot just have like one voice, but have like different voices. And there are also currently a lot of projects that provide not only female but also male voices and different kind of voices. And you can use also this test interface to test out what you want to say. And if I put like now some text in there with different properties, you can hear. Yeah, so you can also put these kind of things into your skill to make it more natural, yeah, and create a better experience also for the user. So one last thing is that if you want to take this skill now and distribute it into the Alexa shop or the skill thing, you just provide all this information like this description and some kind of things. And then you go into the certification phase, and certification, they will make some automated tests so that actually you filled everything and everything is provided. And what they also will do is that they will take your skill and they will test it and they will check if there is help, if there is no mixture of languages and these kind of things. And if everything went fine, it will maybe take some days and back and forth until you are certified, and then actually you are yeah, in the store, and also have like Amazon also have like one skill which is the Ausgesteckt app skill, because currently I'm also doing a project let's say as a hobby, and I provided a skill there, and so that you can also see how the app looks like. It's just an app where you can see which kind of Buschenschenke Heurigen are currently open. And the cool thing is with this Alexa skill, you can not only say like what is open today, but you can also say what is open next Saturday and what is open on the 13th of December and these kind of things. So I also used the feature of automatic date recognition. And yes, actually at the end, I want just a summary of all the resources I used. So if you want to continue or start, use the links in the slides, or just come to me and ask me. And actually, that's it for my presentation. And if you have answers, I'm happy to answer. Are there any questions? Yes.
I didn't quite get what exactly did you do with the code generator? Like, what does it use for doing this?
Yeah. Actually, the code generator, what it does, it creates all this code. This is for sure clear, but it interprets all the JSON you get from the cloud. Because in the JSON, you can also see here. Where is it? No, not this one. In the test. Alexa, ask what society dinner can we do? The other thing. And you will get just this as an input, where it is yeah, where all the information is in there, like it is an event intent, and it is it has a dinner and these kind of things. And of course, what the code is doing, it just parses this object and provides variables, and also parses the JSON that you put for the sample phrases, and creates, let's say, the help intent, where you can, where we heard that it's like, what can we do? It's like, you can ask for the budget and this kind of thing. So it just creates some basic structure that you can use later to continue developing. So it creates for each of every intent, actually an intent function, and yeah, it just split up the code and provides some basic structure in the end. And also some helper functions, like the things with the array is also like, I provided an array with different, where is the pizza? There's the pizza, with different values, and there's made like a say array, and so we put like the and before the last word. So it's like sushi, burger, pizza, and these kind of things. So, but also this code is all in there. So this say array thing is just here, and it's just a helper function in the end. This is what this code, it just provides a lot of code you would have to write anyway somehow. So especially for the beginning, or if you want to mock something or create a prototype, it's pretty straightforward to use it. Mm-hmm. More questions? So, who is ready to create a skill? I hope so. Okay, yeah, thank you very much for joining me, and I will conclude now. Thanks. Also, bye from the note.